Hi and welcome to this Scorpio inspired May 2025 reading. This reading is a timeless reading, but we are working with the time quality of May 2025. I work with Western astrology and the tarot. I'm not predicting your future. I'm not an astrologer. I merely use the symbolism of the tarot and of Western astrology and the interconnection of those two to find deeper meaning, to find maybe a different story, to reflect and to help us manage our manifestations. So let's look at what's going on. In the first part of the reading, as always, I'm doing a general energy. In the second part, a relationship dynamic. This reading is about 20 minutes long, so stick with me. You can, of course, just go to the relationship part if that's what you're mostly interested in. All right. I'm recording this on May 5th, and we just had a Pluto retrograde starting in Aquarius for people who are working with astrology. So this is maybe something that we want to take into consideration. All right. Scorpio, Queen of Cups, great card to start with. When we work with Pluto, we also go to Scorpio because Pluto and Scorpio are connected. Pluto rules Scorpio, so this is about deep transformation. This is about deeper processes, also of the psyche. Also deeper emotional processes, and that's where the Queen of Cups comes into play. She is water and water energy. Scorpio is a water sign, so we are very much in synchronicity with the card and the sign. Water signs could be all the water signs, of course, not only Scorpio. But with the Queen of Cups, we really go into a deeper connection with ourselves, with our inner selves. We try to really sense things out and feel things out, and maybe also transform things, maybe also work with the things that come towards us and let them transform through our emotions, through our inner processes. And it is also the card of the ultimate mother, the giving, the loving, the considerate, the compassionate mother. So it is the mother that is in the feeling and that is nurturing on an emotional sense, which is a very good thing. So we could also be in a state where we have to be more compassionate towards ourselves or towards our surroundings, so we learn to love deeper, to love more pure, to be more unconditional with our love, but also to be able to. It is interesting, this card, because in a sense we feel a lot, but at the same time we are so detached from a self and from an ego as well that we don't let things go or get to us. So it's an interesting card. It's not so much about being so sensitive, it's more about working with emotions and being really mastering and transforming and transmuting through emotional experience. So it's a very beautiful card, very giving, very mysterious. Also, we could have a very mysterious aura for other people. She is also a character where Crowley says, or also other people, is like people are just mysteriously drawn to her, and in a sense she becomes a leader. So it's very interesting, even though she doesn't have those fire leading qualities, which would be the wands and the fire energy. She's water and cups, so it's water and water. She becomes still a leader through love. So it's very, very fascinating because she's a queen, and the queen also is always a figure of authority. All right. We do have, what I need to mention, we also do have a Scorpio full moon on May 12th. So also we might be working towards something in our inner realm. Scorpio full moon is a very deep transformational letting go state. Scorpio is about really the deeper stuff, the roots of a problem. I like to say the gutter, you know, like where we really go to the down and dirty within ourselves, our psyche. It is also about taboos and stuff like that. So it's really a very deep reflection within ourselves, and also going to the dirtier and to the nastier and to the uncomfortable places within ourselves. So I think with the next card that I've drawn, with the Knight of Discs, we are in a beautiful state of stability to approach this. So we have this pairing, which is very interesting. It's earth energy is also feminine, female energy, as well as the cups and water energy. So we do have on one hand a very grounded, earthy, stable, secure way to move forward, to move into this month at the same time, and maybe months, because that wanted to come out. And at the same time, we do have the Queen of Cups, who is really bringing so much sensitivity for the matter. And I say matter because the Knight of Discs is about matter in a sense of material sense. So this is very, very interesting. Maybe you're dealing with Knight of Discs who would be a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo earth placements, or an earthy person who is very well situated in the material world, or in the body, in the physical. But you know, when I read these cards, it's parts of ourselves, parts of our personality that we want to work with, that we can work with. So how can we combine this sense of really experiencing on a deeper level, as well as building something sustainable here with our Knight of Discs? Oh, wow. The Tower, as well as the Six of Wands, which is the victory card on the bottom of the deck. All right, this could be, I get a sense of, we might just find the right solution for success. There might just be a breakthrough, a huge breakthrough, through combination of the right parts within our personality that mingle, which is this Queen of Cups and a Knight of Discs type of energy, to really break through walls within ourselves, break through walls when it comes to breaking down barriers, or breaking down also blockages that are mostly in our mind, which is, the Tower is all about actually breaking down the mind. It's not so much about breaking down to instability, because what is left from the Tower is still a stable foundation. What's breaking down in the Tower is just the top, the very top that we build with our intellect, that might be false securities. But in general, it can be a moment of revelation, of realization, of sudden realization, of a sudden shift, of a sudden opening, and of a sudden breakthrough within ourselves. Because of the Six of Wands here, I think this is something very positive, because the Six of Wands is about a positive attitude, about a winning attitude. There could also be a sudden win, or we are able to step into our winning attitude. And it could be all of a sudden, because we found the right combination of how to move forward. Especially here with this, I just see this Knight of Discs so strongly, because he's so very focused on how to move forward, and he's still in a still position. So he knows that he needs to have all the compassion and all the love to really have this breakthrough in this area of the things he wants to transform, and of this area of deep transformation. The Tower is deep transformation. The Tower in old decks is also or in old astrology system is also loosely connected to Scorpio because it's a Mars card, and Mars used to be connected to Scorpio, so, or used to be the ruler of Scorpio. So this is really a violent, aggressive breakthrough into a more positive attitude is what I'm seeing, and into a winning attitude, and maybe into a winning moment even. It could be a sudden winning moment. All right, this is beautiful. I like it. So whatever this area in your life is where you want to have this breakthrough, maybe if you work with astrology, you can look at your house where Scorpio is in. So let's look at the relationships. Such a beautiful card, this Queen of Cups. This Queen of Cups is really drawing me in, but that's what she's doing. She's drawing people in. She's highly magnetic. So you might be highly magnetic at this point. You know, there's always new stuff to discover, even though I work with these cards for such a long time. So yeah, check out my description box for all the information you need for my you know, artistic musical projects, as well as the things that I'm working on with the tarot or offering. All right, and please subscribe, of course. Leave me a comment. I'm checking the comments. Page of Pentacles in the reverse. So we're dealing with a person. This is you and the other person. This other person, you might be dealing with an energy who is maybe hesitant to change. Page of Pentacles in the reverse for me is hesitant to change or to learn or to really be flexible in reality. Or maybe it feels like they don't have much to offer. It's kind of hidden, it's not so obvious, but you might sense it, or a person might be feeling resistant to change, or they might not even be aware because it's falling so deep here, deep down, unconnected. So it could also be that subconsciously somebody is having a hard time thinking in a long-term way. It doesn't have to be romantic, of course. Also maybe when it's with working together with somebody, or somebody is just not willing to change for the better in the long term, or to learn from a situation. It's kind of immature energy. Pages in the reverse are often connected to immature energy, unwilling to learn, unwilling to grow. Seven of Wands. Well, at the same time, somebody is also drawing a boundary or drawing a line with the Seven of Wands, defending their position, I want to say, in this. This could also be a certain boundary, because maybe somebody feels like they've bent too much into a direction and now they're not willing to give right now. It doesn't have to be a long-term energy, you know, but somebody is really like, somebody might be hesitant to give away openly and freely, or change a situation because they are defending, or they are standing their ground. Seven of Wands. Oh yeah, by the way, all the decks you also find in the description box that I'm using. There is a card that is hidden and it wanted to come out face down. So I think somebody here is really not aware really what's going on. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune is a karmic thing. It doesn't have to, you know, this, when a Wheel of Fortune is in the reverse, it reminds us that maybe even this person knows, it doesn't have to be, that this is not our karmic battle. This is theirs. This doesn't necessarily have anything to do with us, you know, that they don't want to open up to this. They don't want to be open to learning, to changing, to growing. This could also be an apprentice, or maybe somebody who is, who you're hiring could also be. This is their karmic cycle, or their cycle of trying to burn off things that are in their way, and they're not there yet. They're not there yet. That's their own thing. Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. They're working through some of their own stuff, it feels like. Oops. Wow, okay. Page of Cups, High Priestess in the reverse. This is very far away from this person. Maybe this is not even very connected. I feel there could be a romantic energy because we have a Page of Cups here from you. But this could very well be just with the High Priestess in the reverse. The Page of Cups could just be like maybe also a little bit, I don't want to say an unreal feeling, but also a little bit of immature, because when the High Priestess is in the reverse, we have this idea of that we are not 100% tapped into our intuition, into our greatest manifestation power when it comes to our future as well. There might be a sense of being open, being understanding, being compassionate towards a person, because also you have the Queen of Cups here. Maybe even have a little bit of romantic feelings towards a person if that is a romantic situation, but it's not necessarily in the best interest of the master plan. And you might know that because it's not, and that's why you might also be a little bit distant, because there is this boundary. I feel like there's this really big gap in between. And she, the Page of Cups, she's also just kind of being in her own feelings, in her own mind, not so much focused. It may be more like a contemplation of what's going on with a person, or what has been going on with a person, rather than really actually having an interaction with a person in the real world, because it's very disconnected here. Three of Swords in the reverse, yeah. And the Chariot. There is a lot of unknown energies here, or hidden in a sense, like we're not sharing everything with a person, and it doesn't have to be, because we have hardly any swords, and the only swords we're having here is the Three of Swords in the reverse, which means I think we are trying to cut the losses, not get into more upheaval, especially this other person. With Three of Swords, somebody is like understanding, like, okay, this is my thing I have to deal with. I cannot bring this into this connection. I don't want to bring this in connection, or into the connection, or I'm not even ready to go into a situation, because I can tell there is still some karmic stuff I have to work through, you know. It's like very much like that. The Three of Swords in the reverse is also kind of protecting and healing at the same time. When we have the Three of Swords in the reverse, we don't allow new influences cut us to the core, or go to wounded areas within ourselves. We're kind of trying to damage control with our heart. There is heart energy that is here, and I think there is also healing type of potential for this other person through this distance, I want to say, but still at the same time connection is working its way through the 5D, I think. With the Chariot, I think you are very much aware to move forward from a place where you don't want to stay anymore into something unknown, but you're convinced that this is the right way to go. And I think it's not into the direction of a certain person or of a certain type of person, or in general, where we feel like this is not our work to do. Our work is somewhere else. This is really how it feels like. Our work is somewhere else. And if somebody wants to do the work, fine, but it's not our job to do the work with them. Sometimes we find a person where it's really like, okay, this is the work we both have to do, and we do it together, and that works, and that's a good thing, and we have an outcome, especially on a deeper, on a soul level. And I think this is about the soul level, but here it seems like this is not the contract. We don't have the contract to do this work. I'm gonna go to a new direction. I'm not going to stay here and do the work for other people. Maybe it's also a sense of I've been doing so much work for other people, and now it's time to do work with the right people on an emotional level, and I'm going to go this new way, which is a Chariot. Even though I'm not sure where I'm going, but I'm sure I will not stay here, and I would take the step in the right direction. So yeah, very interesting. All right, I will draw one more animal oracle card. Okay, Coyote, trust the divine detours. Yeah, and I feel like this has been maybe a detour, and you're like, oh wait, that was interesting, but my path is actually a different direction. This is the number 31. It's like, this looks interesting over there, this little path. But my path is kind of, I feel like my path needs to go through compassion into a breakthrough to success. So yeah, that's what I have for you, Scorpio. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, subscribe, comment, and come back next time, and I'll talk to you very soon. Goodbye.